Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to dive into a history lesson covering one of the absolute most defining moments in American history. We're talking about the attack on Pearl Harbor. But we aren't just looking at the attack itself. We're also going to explore its lasting legacy and how we honor that memory today. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll start with the Hawaiian Naval Base, then move to the events of December 7th, 1941, take a look at the USS Arizona Memorial, and finally wrap up with remembering Pearl Harbor today. All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Hawaiian Naval Base, Life Before the War. Check out this timeline on screen. It basically maps out our entire journey for this lesson. We're going from a peaceful naval base in 1940 right into a total surprise attack in 1941. Then we jumped to 1962 for the memorial dedication, all the way to the massive national monument we have today. Okay, I want you to picture this. It's the early 1940s. You're waking up on a quiet, beautiful sunny morning on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. Before World War II kicked off for the U.S., this spot was a hugely important, buzzing hub for the United States Navy. But despite being a military base, it was actually pretty peaceful, being thousands of miles away from all the conflicts that were escalating over in Europe. So what changed? Let's move on to Section 2. December 7, 1941, the day of the attack. The sheer shock of this moment is kind of hard to overstate. Literally out of nowhere, early in the morning on December 7th, the Imperial Japanese Navy launched a massive, entirely unexpected attack on Pearl Harbor. The U.S. forces stationed there were just totally caught off guard. To give you a sense of the chaos, hundreds of enemy aircraft just swarmed the base. The devastation was absolute. Military facilities, airplanes that were just sitting defenseless on the runways, and massive battleships docked in the harbor were completely battered. And really tragically, the USS Arizona, which was one of the most famous battleships in the fleet, was totally destroyed. Now, look at this number, over 2,400. That is how many Americans lost their lives in just a matter of hours. To put that into perspective for you guys, that is roughly the population of an entire large high school, just gone in a single morning. It's a really heavy number to take in. And on top of that staggering loss of life, more than 1,000 other Americans were injured in the absolute chaos of the attack. You can imagine the shockwave this sent across the country, right? The nation was stunned to its core. Because of this unprovoked attack, the United States officially entered World War II the very next day. It was a moment that literally changed the course of world history overnight. That brings us to Section 3, the USS Arizona Memorial, honoring the fallen. So how does a country honor a sacrifice like that? Well, in 1962, they dedicated this truly unique structure. Instead of salvaging or moving the sunken battleship, they actually built this striking bridge-like memorial directly over the underwater remains of the ship. They took a site of immense tragedy and turned it into a permanent place of quiet reflection. If you ever get the chance to step inside, it is an incredibly solemn experience. There's this massive memorial wall displaying the names of all the sailors and Marines who died on that ship. And what's really profoundly moving is realizing that many of those fallen heroes are actually still resting inside the sunken ship right beneath you. Because the ship is still down there, it creates this really powerful phenomenon known as the Tears of the Arizona. If you look down into the water today, decades later, you can actually see drops of oil from the sunken USS Arizona bubbling up to the surface. It is a super visible, physical reminder of that day, bringing history right to the surface before your very eyes. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, Remembering Pearl Harbor Today, a Lasting Legacy. Today, this site isn't just some forgotten relic in a textbook. It's visited by millions of people every single year. Beyond the memorial itself, it's packed with museums, exhibits, and authentic artifacts that tell the story in incredible detail. Plus, it regularly hosts ceremonies to honor our veterans. It's all designed to teach us about World War II and to really drive home the importance of peace. I love this quote from our source material because it really hits the nail on the head. Pearl Harbor remains a powerful symbol of sacrifice, courage, and American history. That is exactly why we're studying this today. It reminds us of the sheer bravery of those who were there and how one single morning changed our nation's trajectory, for sure. Now, as time moves forward, it becomes the responsibility of your generation to carry this history. So, before we finish this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. How will your generation ensure the sacrifices made at Pearl Harbor are never forgotten?